Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of the Puerto Rico Skyview channel. My name is Juan Santiago and today we are talking camera battles. Yes, that's right, we are heading towards a battle between the C70, the EOS R5 and, well, the iPhone 13 Max Pro. Let's get into that video. Okay, so I know that these are three separate, very different cameras, except for the C70 and the EOS R5, since they have some of the capabilities, they share some of their capabilities, and I really wanted to test out those differences. In my last video, I mentioned that I was gonna bring one of the most powerful things on the RF mount, and it definitely is with that DJI sensor on the C70. As you all know, the C70 has the same sensor as the C300 Mark III, which is an $11,000 camera, and the C70 brings us that technology in a compact package and more affordable price. I wanted to really test it out against my EOS R5 since I have seen that the EOS R5 paired up with the Ninja V Plus can produce amazing results in terms of dynamic range and color science, but the C70 is now getting raw and I wanted to see the workflow with that camera firsthand myself, because I'm always shooting video, I'm always doing some kind of paid work, and if I can get my hands on anything that can accelerate my workflow, I will definitely try it out, I will definitely test it out, and well, let's see what the C70 can do side by side when comparing it to the EOS R5 as well as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Why did I include the iPhone in this battle? And it's because I've been receiving comments and I've been seeing a lot of video from that ProRes files that the iPhone can produce, and I've been a little bit skeptical because, you know, phones don't have big sensors and they often over sharpen stuff, and you can see this digital look into the images. But this iPhone, they said that it will include a cinematic mode, it will include ProRes, it would include a lot of things. So I got my hands on one. It is my daily driver. I really like the phone, but let's see how it stacks up to the C70 versus the EOS R5. Okay, so let's roll that clip. So guys, what were my findings on this journey? First of all, I completed one achievement that I think that every YouTuber must achieve, and it is getting kicked out of a public space. I got kicked out of the mall here in my town of Aguadilla. I was doing this video here on Aguadilla, and I really wanted to showcase people moving around, the daily commute, if you will, for the people here in Puerto Rico. And when the security guard saw the C70, I have the C70 on this sort of a mini rig situation, and he asked me, he came up to me and asked me, hey, is that a professional camera? And I was like, yeah, it's a cinema camera, you can say that. And he was like, no, you cannot shoot with that inside without a permit. I'm sorry, but if you don't have a permit, you can stay, but you cannot shoot video. And I was like, wow, my first time being kicked off of some place. Anyway, I just went away and went to the local town square and shoot the video for you guys to see the differences between these three cameras, or these three devices. And I think that those images came out really well on the three devices. Now, there are some differences and there are some findings that I encountered. For example, let's start first with the C70. Things that I have found with the C70. One of the things that I found that I really liked about the C70 right away was the use of ND filters, the internal ND filters, because I decided to do this video at the most harshest conditions possible, which is around the middle of the day, 12, right there at 12. In the middle of the day, the sun was very harsh, the lighting conditions were very tough. Those shadows were very crunched. Those highlights were very difficult not to get them clipped. So I really wanted to test out the dynamic range on this C70. I shot all my files on the 4K on the highest quality on the C70, which is the XF AVC codec. To my surprise, the codec handled beautifully in Premiere Pro. It graded so good. I shot everything in C-Log 2, and as you can see, the color accuracy of this camera is unbelievable. There's a scene where I shot behind a tree and I underexposed that shot on purpose to see to take a look at the shadow recovery of this camera, because often we are shooting on environments that are very low light, and I really wanted to see if this camera can excavate those extra stops from the shadows, as I have seen in other videos, and I was so surprised. You can definitely underexpose this camera or shoot in a very shadow oriented environment, and you will retain a lot of details, tons of details, along with the most important thing in a video, color accuracy. For me is a very important thing. If we contrast this part with the EOS R5, the EOS R5 did recover some details from the shadow, awesome detail from the shadows. The EOS R5 was using 8K RAW in this test, which is 12-bit, and to my surprise, the color accuracy was there, but it was not at the same level as the C70, because the EOS R5 had a lot of magenta hidden on those shadows, and yeah, I had to tweak the image a little bit, quite a little bit more. And yes, that for me was a downer, because I was really expecting the R5 to perform at the same level on that test, but the C70 excelled. C70, great camera. I'm really in love with this camera. It has enabled my workflow to be even faster than ever. I think it's a really awesome camera. Now let's head to the EOS R5. My findings with my beloved EOS R5 was that image quality is impressive. The sharpness, the detail retention, the ability to crop in that 8K mode, the 12-bit produced amazing color gradation. You can see perfect gradients. Maybe YouTube is butchering the quality of the video, but at least on my machine, I was able to see that there was no banding on my videos, and the color latitude, the ability to really max out those color manipulations was amazing. Now, there was some downsides to the EOS R5 when shooting or when being compared to the Canon C70, and it was the ND filter that I'm using, which is really nice. It is an easy true color variable ND filter with 5 stops of ND range. It is supposed to give me the most accurate colors, but I have found that if I'm shooting, let's say at 24mm, or if I'm using my 15-35, it can produce some vignetting. It can be corrected in post, but due to the nature of the raw files, it can take a lot of time. It can take a lot of time, it can take a lot of resources. As you can see on this image, the files from the R5 are huge when compared to those on the C70. And even though they are bigger, I found that the files from the C70, and this is gonna bring me problems, I know it for a fact, the files from the C70 are far better for editing in terms of color correction, in terms of shadow and highlight retention. Now, I really wanted to test these cameras side by side because the same sensor that's on my EOS R5, it's gonna be on the EOS R5C. And for that matter, I think that the C70 is still the superior camera for editors that want the most accurate colors and that want to retain the most details out of the highlights and shadows. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit of the iPhone 13 Pro. The iPhone 13 Pro, when I was shooting with it, I was really amazed by the colors, the contrast that I was seeing on my phone screen, which is really important because we are often seeing videos and content more often on our cell phones. Like 80% of my viewers see my content on cell phones. I see some people that see the content on computers and even some TVs, but the cell phones, tablets, it's reign supreme. Whenever I edit, I always keep my phone beside me, my tablet. I always test the footage before sending it out. Well, I sometimes test the footage before sending it out, and the way I use it, I test it out. It's not on some fancy monitors, so calibrated screen. I do test it out on my phone because I want you guys to have the best quality, and I want my media to look as accurate as possible. So the iPhone 13, the downsides that I found when editing these files, even though they were ProRes, were color accuracy. The blues, they really appear a little bit purple on my computer screen, and when I color correct them and send them back to my phone, I saw the change. I really saw the change between the original shot and the edited one. So color accuracy was not on par with other cameras. The dynamic range is a little bit hard to test out because the iPhone does not have a lock profile. So what you shoot from the camera is what you basically get. You can manipulate a little bit of the colors, but it's not as flexible. Nowhere near as flexible as the C70 or the EOS R5. And the sharpness, that artificial sharpening, it really destroys the cinematic vibe because it's over sharpened. It does not look natural. You can see very harsh lines, very harsh shadows, and yeah, it is a little bit detrimental in image quality. But if you are starting out as a video editor, or you want to start and learn your way through video, it's a great beginner's tool. You can mount it on a gimbal, you can take it out wherever you're going, perform vlogs with it, do some vertical content. It's great for vertical content. It's an amazing tool if you're on the run and you don't want to carry a cinema camera or DSLR, Pro DSLR with you all the time. And a lot of people may say, well, it's just ProRes, so it must be easy to handle, easy to edit. There's a caveat to that. If you're shooting on ProRes, you will be allowed to shoot up to 30 frames per second. I shot my footage at 24 frames per second, thinking that it will produce smaller file sizes. And the truth is that it produces very large file sizes for the quality that you are getting. And when you try to import them into your computer using AirDrop, which I have an iMac and I use AirDrop on every file I can get. Oh man, the AirDrop lasted like 15 minutes for like 5 clips. It was grueling. It was very time consuming. So for example, my C70 produced the smaller file sizes with the highest quality. The EOS R5 was second, producing the largest file sizes, but again, the quality was a little bit below of what the C70 gave me. And the iPhone 13 had the worst quality, and the file sizes were almost as big as the ones produced with this awesome camera. So I don't recommend shooting long projects on your iPhone. And the last thing that I have to say about the iPhone is cinematic mode is trash. You can only shoot on 1080p. You cannot even choose to shoot in 24 frames per second. So that defeats the purpose of being called cinematic mode. And it's really a bummer for me because I was really looking forward to getting some show-stopping video with that iPhone 13. I always like surprises, and I thought that I was gonna surprise you guys. And the quality from the iPhone, I can't say is bad. It's really awesome for what you're getting. It's really awesome for a phone. But just when compared with a cinema camera like the C70 or an awesome DSLR mirrorless camera like the EOS R5, it just can't compete. The C70 brought me so much flexibility. It sped up my workflow so fast. And the EOS R5, yes, you can speed up your workflow by having the Ninja V+, but that will cost you even more, like $1,500 more. And you will still have to be carrying a monitor. You will still have to rig up your camera. The benefits of an SSD drive are amazing, but when compared with the C70, you just bring an SD card. You have 2 SD card slots. You can back up your video as you're filming. You can set up proxies if you want to, which I didn't find a need for. It has an awesome display of different codecs and options, and it doesn't overheat. It shoots 120p. In fact, the B-roll at the start of this video, the B-roll of the R5 was shot on the C70, and the 120p, I found that the quality is amazing. Some people say that the C70 has softer footage than the EOS R5, and I found that to be true, but not to a degree that the quality will be detrimental or affected. Instead, I have found that when shooting on the real world, not on controlled environments, or maybe when you have controlled environments, you can produce even more amazing results. But when shooting in the real world and experiencing all of that contrast that the sun can give you, or those scenes can provide, that those natural scenes provide, I found the C70 is a killer camera. It's, oh my God, it's, from now on, it's my favorite camera. So guys, I really appreciate that you guys are commenting on my channel, that you guys are subscribing. We have now passed the 400 subscriber mark, and I'm really excited. I give thanks to each and every one of you. If you want to keep seeing videos like this one, please make sure to subscribe. Consider subscribing. You will help me a lot, and see you guys on my next video.